Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals on this February 20th, 2025. Would you call the roll, please?
Karen Berger. Here. James Bunn.
Here.
Joe Zircuzzi.
Here.
Raphael Katz.
Present.
Linda Thomas.
Here.
Charlotte Burry.
Here. Can I please have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 16th, 2025
So moved.
meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to explain to those that are here a few things about the Zoning Board of Appeals. First of all, to my far right is, Scott Reale from the Development Services Department. The two people to my right are volunteers from the City of Pompano Beach. To my left are three volunteers from the City of Pompano Beach, including myself. We serve without any pay at all. And at the end is James Saunders, who is Assistant City Attorney, who keeps us on the straight and narrow. And the young lady sitting behind that glass is the one that provides us with all the information that you send to us and also keeps us on the straight and narrow. Further, this particular board is what we call a quasi-judicial board, meaning everything is on the record. And before we actually call on our first petitioner, I will ask all of those who are going to testify to stand and raise your hand and be sworn in. Thereafter, when the petitioner's case is called, would come to that microphone, state your name, first name, last name, and your address, and spell your last name. At that time, Mr. Reale will read into the record his report from the Development Services Department, and then you can present your case. You can have witnesses, you can have rebuttal if necessary, and you present your case. We ask that you please speak into the microphone so that everyone can hear you. This meeting is totally recorded and totally filmed. Thank you. At this time, all those who are planning on testifying in this case, please stand and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have some housekeeping changes. Item number 1 has been requested to be postponed to March the 20th. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 3, LN 84. I need a motion to strike this from this agenda as it is an RPUD and will go through a different series with a different criteria. I need a motion to strike.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and to let this board know, item number 4 has been formally withdrawn as of 2/15. And there were 50-plus letters, and if anyone's watching on TV, that young lady behind the screen sent out messages to all of those who have sent in letters to advise them that this item was formally withdrawn. Now that we have the housekeeping, item number 2 21-117000011, a special exception, Bailey Warehouse, Inc. Will the petitioner please come to that microphone?
Hello, my name is Fabricio Pimentel. Address 344 Southeast 11th Avenue, apartment 4, Pompano.
And to pick the microphone up.
Yeah, you got to pick the microphone up.
Okay.
It's a very touchy microphone, and sometimes if you don't talk right into it,
Okay.
it doesn't pick up.
So say my name again, right?
Yes, please.
Fabricio Pimentel, and the address it's 344 Southeast 11th Avenue, Pompano Beach.
Would you please spell your last name?
My last name is Pimentel.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Reale.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board and Madam Chair. For the record, Scott Reale with Development Services. This is P&Z case 24-17000011. And the applicant landowner is requesting special exception approval as required by section 155-4303W1 of the Pompano Beach zoning code in order to utilize the rear portion of the subject property, which is zoned B4, for outdoor storage as an accessory use. This property is located along the west side of northbound South Dixie Highway between Southwest 6th Street and Southwest 8th Street. The subject property was developed in the early 1970s with a metal warehouse. That was building permit 8460. The certificate of occupancy was issued January 15th, 1973. And this is in the Race Car Center subdivision. At the time, the property was zoned general industrial, I-1. Currently, the property holds an active business tax receipt for an automobile service repair business known as Automania Corp., a use permitted by right in the B4 zoning district. However, the applicant is requesting approval to utilize a portion of the area behind the building for outdoor storage. This proposed outdoor storage area will be effectively screened from view by the building itself, which fronts northbound South Dixie Highway. And of course, many properties along South Dixie Highway feature accessory outdoor storage, a use that was lawfully permitted under the previous I-1 zoning designation. But because this property was never formally approved for outdoor storage, a special exception is required. Now, if the special exception is granted, the applicant will be required to adhere to the perimeter buffer and screening standards for accessory outdoor storage. Additionally, the total outdoor storage area may not exceed 35% of the building's total gross floor area. The building measures approximately 5,040 square feet, meaning that the maximum allowable outdoor storage is 1,764 square feet. And according to the conceptual site plan and narrative submitted with this application, the proposed outdoor storage area will occupy less than that, 1,728 square feet. It should be noted that there is an active code enforcement case that's 24-09004438 associated with this property regarding abandoned vehicles and the improper use of designated parking and loading areas for outdoor storage. If approved, the outdoor storage will be restricted to the area behind the principal building and will not be allowed between the building and northbound South Dixie and the northbound South Dixie Highway lot line. I'd also like to mention that Code Inspector A.J. Prasso from Code Compliance is here this evening if you have any questions about that particular code enforcement case, although it is not directly related to the special exception request. Staff finds that the proposed accessory outdoor storage use is compatible with the surrounding businesses in the area. There are 13 special exception review standards. They're included here in my staff report. I believe you have them as well, and the applicant has addressed each of these in his narrative. And should the board determine that the applicant has provided competent, substantial evidence sufficient to meet those 13 review standards, staff recommends the following conditions be included in the order, and there are three of them. The first recommended condition: the applicant must obtain all necessary permits and approvals, including a zoning use certificate and a business tax receipt for the accessory outdoor storage. The second recommended condition: outdoor storage shall be limited to the area shown on the conceptual site plan submitted with this application. No outdoor storage shall be allowed between the principal building and the South Dixie Highway lot line. And the third recommended staff condition: the applicant must address and resolve all violations associated with Code Case 24-09004438. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions, or the applicant can make his presentation now.
Thank you, Mr. Alley.
Okay, so based on what Scott just said, he said about like everything. And when I spoke to him like a few weeks ago, I didn't know there was like be something that big, like make a presentation and all of that. I didn't make any presentation to show you guys today. I just want to say sorry because I'm too late with the request for the outdoor storage. Our business was located on 601 Northwest 12th Avenue. We decided to move to another building about 3 years ago, and we didn't know that we need that outdoor storage license. After they did the first inspection on the 7-Eleven building, nobody never told me, and it was my fault because I never asked if I do need that permit. So after a few years, they told me that I really need it, so I started to run to get that permit done. I spoke to Scott like almost 10 times. I was calling him almost every day to figure out what I gotta do to make that permit. I had the owner of the building calling me, and I was like, I gotta figure out what should I do. I spoke to Scott. I made a site plan. Let me, hold on. Yeah, so that's the entire size of the property. I'm just gonna use like the back of the building, which there's fence, there's camera, lights, and the only cars that I'm gonna keep over there is like the cars that I'm waiting for parts. We're a mechanic shop, and sometimes we don't even have the parts in stock right away. So we need some space to leave the car for a day or two or a week, we never know. And so, yeah, that's all I gotta say. And if you guys got any question, I'm here. I have the owner of the building as well over here, if he wants to say something.
Do you want to say something, sir?
Only if there's any questions that
Okay.
answered that he doesn't have the answers to. My family is owning the building.
You can't talk from there because they don't pick up it doesn't pick up on the microphone, but you'll come up if it's necessary, right? Gotcha.
And if I may say, the 13 review standards, the applicant did address, they're in the backup of your
Yes,
application.
and to let you all know, all that backup that you've done, we have it all. It's all sent to us, and we've read it all, and so we know what's in it. But do my board members have any questions of the applicant?
I have a question. Are you currently using that space?
Yes, I have a few cars parked over there.
Any other board members have any questions?
Yeah, I do. It's fenced in. Is the fence covered, or is it a chain link fence? What is it? You
There's
can
a-
see it through the street?
No, you cannot see from the street.
So anything behind there or whatever you can't see?
No, really.
Okay. And you said that you only use that for 1 and 2 days if you're waiting for a part?
No, I said the cars that I put over there, sometimes it's 3, 4 cars, and cars can stay there for like a week. Just like today, I ordered some parts from dealer, and it's gonna take like 35 days to get the engine at my shop. So I gotta use that space to put the car till I get the parts.
Any other questions from board? Yes, Mr. Katz.
I think you may have answered it, but I just want to make sure. How many cars are there on any given time?
It depends. Like right now, I got like, I would say 7 to 10 cars.
And what's the most you have there at any given time?
It's gonna be just like that, 7 to 10 cars.
Is that what's normally there? Is it usually 7 to 10 cars, or is it sometimes one?
Sometimes it's gonna be lower than that.
But what's the norm? What's your average? If I was to go drop by there 7
Okay,
nights?
I would say 5.
Okay. And I do have a question. I don't know if this is something you can answer, or maybe the city, but you mentioned the fence is covered. So how did it become, how long has it been fenced? Let me ask you that. Has it been fenced for a long time?
Yes,
So how did this come to the city's attention? Because it bothered somebody enough that it came to their attention. That's why I'm asking.
yeah, okay, so I had a car parked in front of the shop for a few years, and they told me to remove the car. And I spoke to my dad, find some place to put the car, and he was like, move to the next day, move to the next day. and then they set up an inspection on the building. So when the lady was there to do the inspection, they saw the cars on the backyard, and she mentioned to me that I need to get the outdoor storage license to keep cars over there.
Okay, so it wasn't a complaint that somebody was being bothered by the cars in the back, they were being bothered by the cars in the front?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other board questions?
No, but that was what I was trying to get at about that, how long is cars sitting there? Because I know how mechanics, sometimes they're waiting for parts for a long time. Scott, I have to ask Scott, is there a limit like to how many cars are allowed in a certain area or code enforcement? I don't know.
No, if you can fit it.
So if he could fit 100 cars there, he could fit 100 cars?
If you can,
Yes.
if you can fit it, yeah. And also, I just wanted to point out that the landowner also owns the parcel immediately behind it, so, but that's a separate parcel, but it shouldn't affect anyone's, you know.
You do have a correspondence, right?
Well,
It looks like on the,
There is
came in?
one letter of opposition from, what is that neighborhood?
Orchid Grove.
Good Grove.
Thank you,
Orchid
Orchid Grove. But I wasn't able to speak to that individual, but clearly you cannot see the outdoor storage because it's behind the building from Orchid Grove. You have train tracks and,
okay, thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for the petitioner? Anyone here to speak against this petition? Hearing none, public hearing closed. Any further board discussion?
Scott, the 24, the code violation, has that been resolved?
I believe our code compliance, AJ, can speak to that. I think it's still active, but it's, the approval of this special exception is conditioned on remedying those code violations.
Yeah, once he moves everything in the back.
so if this
But it's
passes
still
and
an
goes
active,
through.
it hasn't been resolved, what you're saying?
Well, by obtaining this approval, it will allow the vehicles to be stored in back rather than the front. And
And then-
Okay.
then-
but there may be other issues with, or other provisions. I don't know if there's anything else. That was the main thing that jumped out at me.
Inspector AJ Prasso, co-compliance. Based on a review of the case and the initial inspections by Inspector Trevino, the violations that are open, there's 3, are all related to the vehicles, the unregistered and inoperable vehicles that have been around the property. So with the approval of this storage area, the vehicles should be only in that storage area and thus complying those 3
And that would be
violations.
complying to the code?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you want to ask a question?
Because, yeah, I understood there was vehicles that are waiting for parts. That's a big difference between inoperable, unregistered vehicles, which is more like abandoned vehicles or otherwise, and that's a different, that's like a junkyard, that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
The photos from the inspection show vehicles with flat tires, ones without plates on them, but that might just be, there might be situations related to the tenant. I can't speak on that part. That being said, if they have flat tires and missing plates and they're put in that storage area, it still would be an approved storage area, so that would still keep it in compliance. It would just be a matter of the other locations that would be a violation.
So if this goes through and they have a car back there for 5 years, there's nothing, code enforcement, nothing can happen?
We wouldn't address it because it would be within the approved storage area.
Any other further questions from the board? Any further discussion? May I please have a motion?
In P and Z case 2417000011, I move to find there is competent and substantial evidence in this records that all requirements for granting the special exception have been met, and that we grant that special exception subject to 3 conditions requested by staff.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Linda Thomas,
Yes.
James Bunn,
Yes.
Karen Berger, Joe Circuzzi,
Yes.
Raphael Katz,
Yes.
Charlotte Burry.
Yes. I don't bang the way the other one does. Your petition's been approved. Thank you.
Very much.
You're very welcome. And now, magnificently enough, we are finished with our agenda. And does anybody here have anything that they'd like to say on television, or should I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
One quick thing.
Yes, sir.
We'll be doing elections for the chair and the vice chair at the end of the next meeting, March 20th, the conclusion of that. And also between now and then, I'm updating the ZBA rules of procedure, which is a good time since we have some new board members. So I will be sending those out either soon or prior to, or with the next agenda. So you can take a look at those and we can discuss those if you have any questions. But there's not a lot of dramatic changes from the current ones, just kind of,
Well, thank you, Scott.
you're quite welcome.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Home safe.